This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
Today is December 10th, 2021. It is now 11:48 hours. Present today is Lieutenant Chapman and Sergeant Wade. Sergeant Wade, on November the 18th of 2021, two juveniles were taken into custody regarding a stolen weapon from Lenox Station. Upon the suspects being transported to the mini precinct at Lindbergh, a weapon was discovered.
What's up?
Yeah, they are.
What's up? Ah, shit, look.
What?
Did nobody pat him down? You got any more? You guys got anything out in there?
What?
69.
Were you present at Lindbergh when this discovery was made?
Yes, I was.
And who else was present?
Toncoat. I think it was just me and Toncoat at the time that was present.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Officer Smalls.
Kind of walk me through what happened in the mini precinct when the weapon was discovered.
Okay. Well, I believe I was doing some admin work on the computer at the sergeant's desk. I was facing the juveniles, and Officer Toncoat was actually facing the juveniles as well. Right before the discovery was when the juvenile, especially the female juvenile, I believe her name was, asked me a question about what if we can help you all recover the gun, or something similar to that. Previously, before that, we already looked for the gun, couldn't locate it. Shortly after that, one of the juveniles, which I believe was the male juvenile, handed a gun, the gun that was stolen, the gun that we was looking for, the Smith & Wesson 45 M&P handgun that was loaded with a magazine in the magazine well with one round in the chamber. Handed that gun over to Officer Toncoat. Officer Toncoat then took possession of that weapon, and we unarmed Officer Toncoat took the magazine out and racked the round out of the chamber, rendering the gun safe.
Do you know where the weapon came from, or how did Toncoat get it from which one?
I believe he got it from the male juvenile.
Now, was this by Toncoat searching the male, or?
No, this was them willingly giving the gun up to Toncoat without a search.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did Toncoat inform you of what happened?
I was present at the time. I can't remember exactly what was said, but I know I became aware close to the time that he became aware that they was handing the gun over to him.
Okay. And so when you became aware, did you notify anyone?
Yes, I did.
And who did you notify?
Okay. First call, Officer Harper that had recently left, who was processing the juveniles. She's our truant officer. She had recently left to go home, and I just informed her that one of the juveniles, they still had the gun on them and just handed it over to Officer Toncoat.
Okay.
I then proceeded to call on my cell phone. I called her on my cell phone. I then knew that Lieutenant Love was at the precinct and was on shift, on duty at the time. Then made a phone call to his extension from the desk phone, just dialing the extension, and I informed him that we just discovered a gun and that one of the juveniles had it on them.
Okay. And what did your supervisor say? What did Lieutenant Love say to you?
Well, Lieutenant Love, he was on speakerphone at the time. He said to me that what I can remember is that he said that he was going to run damage control, and then he proceeded to explain how he was going to run damage control by changing how we discovered the gun to that the gun was going to be discovered by a pat down from the officers.
And did a pat down occur?
No.
Okay. And how did you interpret what you were told? What did that mean, damage control?
When I heard damage control and then him explaining how he was going to run damage control, it alarmed me.
Okay.
Well, I tell you, I'm gonna look. This what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some damage control. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm updating your synopsis now and put that they were transported and stuff like that. So I'm gonna just say that an additional pat down of the suspect, they found the weapon over.
At the time, I also knew that we was on camera and that he was on speaker, and it just didn't sound good to me.
Okay.
Immediately turned off my body camera. I picked up the phone and I proceeded to talk to him. And the only thing I can remember at the time was telling him that it is what it is. It's ugly, but it is what it is. And then right before I told him that, I told him, because I was alarmed, I told him he was on speakerphone. Lou, I'm recording, so he was on body camera, and the body camera was rolling, and I told him that it is what it is, and that's when he stated that, okay, well, it sounds like you all got it then. And then he said that he's gonna take care of the email, the synopsis email, which I already put out a first synopsis email that he was gonna update my synopsis email in reference to the discovery of the handgun.
And let me ask you, when you mentioned it is what it is, what does that mean?
It means that that it's original, it's organic, it happened the way it happened. That's what I meant by that.
Okay.
It might be ugly, but it's the truth.
And you mentioned that you sent out an initial synopsis.
Yes, before the discovery of the handgun.
Okay. And so the second draft of the synopsis, do you know what that read, or did it read anything different from what occurred? What was in that synopsis? Or did you do it?
No, I didn't do the update from the original email that I first sent out. The update from the original email came from Lieutenant Love.
Okay.
And I believe it was accurate to what happened. It may not have been as detailed if I would have put it, but it was, I believe he said something as, it was in highlight, I believe he said something as, before transport, a handgun was discovered from the juveniles, I believe.
Okay. And when Officer Toncoat received when the weapon was turned over to him, what were his actions? What did he do? What happened next?
Officer Toncoat was very calm. He just, believe he informed me. I can't remember the exact words that he spoke to me. But he said, "Hey, one of the juveniles just gave me over a handgun."
Okay.
He notified me of that, and then the initial, when he started going into the process, he wanted to run the gun for his query check. And I believe at that time, Officer Smallness was there too.
Okay.
Which was his training officer.
Okay.
And the Officer Tunco, my understanding, came from APD, so he has some experience.
Okay. As far as running a query on the weapon, was one ran?
My understanding, one was ran on the gun. It came back not stolen.
Okay.
I believe that was put in the report.
All right. Was any of this information, the discovery of the weapon, put on the radio?
I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure if the gun. I want to say yes, but I'm really not sure.
Okay. Did anyone else speak with Lieutenant Love during your conversation regarding this incident and the discovery of the weapon?
Well, we was on speakerphone. All me and Smallins. I'm not sure if Tom Coates said something, but all of us spoke on the speakerphone. So I believe he should have known that he was on speakerphone at that time.
Okay.
I did forget to say something. After notifying Lieutenant Love, I did ask him for permission to notify Major Davenport of the discovery of the weapon, and he said okay, and I proceeded to call Major Davenport. I believe I called him on my cell phone, and I notified Major Davenport of the discovery of the gun and how we discovered the gun, and then I informed him of the process that I was looking to my next step in the process, which was taking statements from officers in reference to the gun being discovered.
Okay. All right. Were any additional directives given by Lieutenant Love when you all were speaking regarding the weapon? Anything about notifying radio or running a check or anything of that nature?
The only thing I could recall at the time, which is very clear, is when he spoke the words, I'm about to run damage control. He seemed to be pretty persistent in that, and that explaining how he was going to do it through a pat down. Other than that, when I spoke with him, I made him aware that he was on speakerphone and body camera, and nothing else was said by him besides that he was going to send up the update for the synopsis.
Okay. All right.
That's all I can remember.
All right. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Something. Oh yes, I do. So, in that time that I spoke with Major Davenport, explaining to him the details that the juvenile had the gun on him, and that the juvenile handed the gun over to Officer Toncoat. It was Protected Specialist Durham came out, and I believe I was standing outside in the bus loop just outside the precinct. He came out and spoke to me, and Officer Smallins spoke to us, explained that he just overheard the female, the female and the male juvenile discussing that. I believe the male juvenile saying that, how did they not find the weapon or whatever? How did you keep the weapon on you? And she explained that she put it in her, close to her private area. And so when he explained to me that he overheard them talking, my next initial step was, hey, go ahead and write me a statement of what you heard both of them saying, and that while I was doing the report, that will be added into the report, which Officer Toncoat did a great job with adding that into the report as an utterance from the juvenile.
All right. Well, that's all that I have for you at this time. If I have anything additional, I'll reach back out to you. All right? Okay. It is now 12:06 hours, and this concludes this interview. Today is December 10th, 2021. It is now 14:36 hours. Present today is Lieutenant Chapman and Officer Toncoat. Were you instructed to make any other type of reports regarding a different occurrence?
No.
Okay. All right. So, but exactly what took place
Yes,
in the
exactly
precinct?
whatever happened, that's what I wrote down in my supplement.
Okay. Was a check done on the weapon?
Yes. Well, at that time, I ran a check, I believe, because early they said they stole a gun from somebody, but the owner of the weapon didn't have the information on the firearm, so it was not in the system as stolen yet.
Okay.
So at that time, I didn't know it was, because I just came in at 8, I didn't know what's going on. So, you know, that's all I know. It was a lot go through my head at that time. So, honestly, I was going to quit that day.
Oh, no.
I thought about quitting because I said in 20 years it never happened. And I called my wife, I told my wife what happened at home, and she said, you know what, just hand me your stuff. But I said, you know what, let me step back and relax and think about it. It happened. I mean, we got to deal with it. Because she wanted me to just turn everything in.
Gotcha. Okay. Did any other supervisors come to the mini precinct inside of the precinct?
No, I only see Sergeant Wade there, so I didn't see anybody else. So.
Okay. Were any supervisors called on the phone?
At that point, whoever was on the phone, I wasn't even paying attention to that. So it might have happened, it might have not. I couldn't tell you on that was the LT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add regarding this incident?
No, I mean, you know, I wish it didn't happen, to be honest with you. But other than that, I mean, it's just one of those situations that, you know, if we can turn back time, you know, we should have do a better pat down before they transport to the precinct.
Mm-hmm.
So, but on that, I mean, I know a mistake happens, but it's a wake up call for me. I mean,
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. And just for clarity, that prior to the discovery, and when you arrived and prior to the discovery, there was no pat down or search conducted by you?
No, there was no pat down search by me at all.
Okay. All right, sir. Well, that's all that I have for you.
Okay.
If I need anything else, I'll be sure to reach back out to you.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. This concludes this interview. It is now 14:47 hours.